Welcome back. We're here again. Welcome to the editing room of the PodCraft. Here for a special extra bonus mega episode of Don't Wake the Baby, full of all the bits and bobs that got cut out. Some of it's very funny because it's like little outtakes and things that are less professional, even less professional than the main content. But some of it really is like interesting bits that we just couldn't physically fit into some of the episodes. So some interesting stories and extra all sorts of things.
See, I have no idea because I can never remember what we've said. So it'll be a surprise for me too.
It's mostly just you talking about stuff where I've gone, this is too rambly. Can't fit it in.
The Emma Rambles episode where I just talk about random stories that Elliot doesn't think are very interesting.
A lot of it is just random stuff. This is why we're recording again. I didn't think I'd have to record, but I was listening through and the clips are so disjointed, jumping from topic to topic. I thought we're going to have to try and link this together somehow. It's not just you your rambles though. We have had multiple guests on this season.
We have,
and you and our guests often got carried away chatting about things off on tangents.
Well, I think I often make other people ramble. I'm a bad influence.
So we've got lots of rambles from them as well.
Lots of rambles.
So shout out to all our guests we've had this series. We should say this is the kind of sort of final episode of this series.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, vaguely.
Let's probably start up again in 2 months. You know what we're like.
Yeah. We might do some more bonus episodes. I've got a few ideas.
Oh.
So stay tuned for that. But this kind of wraps up our recent batch of episodes fairly nicely, and you can hear all the bits that were cut out and have a overview of all the different topics that we've been chatting about recently.
I have a new favourite episode as well.
Oh, do you? What's your new favourite episode?
Originally, my favourite episode was the first episode we've ever done.
I thought it was the episode with Becky.
Oh, that probably was, yes.
I think you did mention both of those when I asked you this question before.
I think now my favourite episode is the potty training / elimination training episode.
Oh, really? How interesting.
It's the one I listen back to the most.
Oh, I don't tend to listen to our podcast for fun. I have to listen to our voices so much during the editing that I just get a bit sick of it.
That's a good point. I don't do any editing.
Well, once I've listened to it through like 5 times editing it, I'm like, I don't think I'll listen to it again just for the
joy of it.
I was going to say the hell of it, but
just for the hell of it.
Probably not. So we'll dive straight into some random thoughts from Emma, probably, most likely. I'm sure I appear in this episode somewhere. I think I chat about stuff.
Good.
Yeah.
Not just my own one-woman episode.
Normally, though, you can hear me in the background, like, sounding a bit exasperated or, like, just, silently absent. It means I'm probably staring at Emma like, what are you on about?
I normally know from his look that I'm like, this isn't going to make it in. But I don't stop because I like to finish my trail of thought.
We're normally 5 minutes from the end of an episode. I'm like wrapping up, and Emma's like, "Oh, I've got another story to tell now."
Story to tell you. I'm like, "Oh, I've watched an interesting documentary, and this thing happened on it." And he always looks at me like it's got nothing to do with what we're recording.
We've already tangented. We've tangented within the thing where we were trying to introduce the tangents within the tangent episode.
Right. So are we introducing the tangents? I will try my best not to sniff once again.
Yeah.
I thought I'd be over it.
The sniffs are getting better, though.
It is getting
better than last week.
Yeah. Thank you. You see the slow progression of my health.
Testing.
1 2 1 2.
Are we good? We all calibrated?
Like computers.
Yeah.
Do you remember at school when they had smart boards?
Oh, yeah.
And they had those pens and they had to like click on the dots with the pen to calibrate.
Yeah. You had to go around and like click the things and then sometimes draw a line.
The word calibration just took me back to that moment.
Yeah. There you are.
Bet they don't have to do that anymore.
No.
But you can use your finger.
Well, you could back then, really.
Why did I don't know. The teachers never did. They all had their special pen. Then we had one teacher that suddenly wrote on it with a real pen.
We always had that. Definitely. Always. Every time.
And then she was like desperately trying to clean it up.
Right. Do we have any parenting stories or anything people have sent in to us today?
Oh, I don't know. I have a rather amusing story. It's not really to do with parenting, though.
Well, that's no good.
Well, it
And has
involves...
someone sent it to us? Does it fulfill any of the criteria by which we normally share something?
Can I tell you the story and then you decide whether it's relevant or not?
Fine.
It involves my father and one of his daughters.
Okay.
That's a parenting story. It just amused me. You can cut it out. So, my dad's currently in France because he's helping babysit because over there they have 2 weeks for their half term. You know, the lucky French. So while Becky's working, he's gone over to look after the children. And yesterday, well, I say yesterday, it was like the day before, they had a plumber or something coming over. But my sister had to go out to work and they were really hoping the plumber would come back when she got home. Because if people don't know, my dad speaks no French.
Ah, I see.
So he was sitting there going, I really hope Nassie doesn't turn really shy because her oldest son, Nassie, how old is he now? 6?
7.
7. I never know my nephew's and niece's age. That's why I have Elliot. Oh, he was like, I hope he's not nervous, he said, because if not, we're going to be doing sign language at each other, me and the plumber, and I'll be like, this room? There, that's what she said. It was so funny. But luckily, Becky did get back in time and they were slightly delayed. You're going to cut that out, aren't you? I can tell by his little face.
Yes.
I thought it was a funny story.
Yeah, well, I could go somewhere.
Okay. I don't have any parenting related stories. I told the one about Laura and the kids.
Yes. No,
I do have a funny thing.
No, but it's meant to be something someone sent us.
Well, nobody sent us anything.
Oh, you're not contacted anyway.
No, I forgot I had to do that.
Oh, okay. We'll just leave it out.
Can I just tell a little...
You want to tell another story? Yeah. The outtake episode's going to be massive.
Just listen to it and see if you can put it anywhere.
I think we should just have a whole episode of just, here's Emma's stories that she wanted to tell, but it wasn't what we were meant to be talking about.
Yep, that's fine. Just hear it. Okay.
Okay, what's your story?
So, my sister Laura, her son Aiden, recently turned 5.
Yeah.
But he's been telling everybody he's 10 because his older brother turned 10 a week ago. But because he's tall, he could be 10.
That's true. He is very tall.
Very tall for his age. He's not much different in size.
Really pass as a 10-year-old, but a quick glance, you might think he's 10.
So she said he's been going around. Everybody goes, "Oh, how old are you?" Because over his birthday, he keeps going 10, and they all look like, "Oh," and then they look at him like, "I don't." Is it like he probably wouldn't just lie to us, but and he's quite tall, but you know,
Yeah.
she said it causes a lot of confusion, and then she has to quickly go, "No, he's not. He's 5. He's tall for his age, and his brother's just turned 10. He's convinced he's 10. I've tried to tell him it's 5, but he's adamant that him and Adam. It's true. There's only a week between their birthdays, but he's adamant that they're the same. So apparently when he came home from school and Laura had set up the party, he was going, "Oh, for me and Adam." And she was going, "No, sweetie, it's just your birthday." And then he was going, "Happy birthday to us." So he's convinced they're like twins and they've both turned 10.
Right.
I just thought it was a funny story. He's going around telling everybody's
It is quite funny. Next parenting story.
I did like, that's what I'm saying, I liked flowers like when Lily was first born, because we're in lockdown, I actually really lightened up the house. And I'm more pro flowers than I used to be. But I find it as a romantic gesture a bit odd.
Yeah.
In that I'm like, you've killed a plant
You've given me a dead thing.
and now presented it to me.
Yeah. Apologies out there if you're a big fan.
No,
of
it's fine
receiving
if you do
flowers.
like flowers. It's just I would actually prefer a plant.
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you're
yeah.
going to go down that route, get me a living thing.
Our problem is we're very poor at keeping plants alive.
We are.
And we've become even poorer, even worse at... No, what's the English? We've become
Even worse.
at doing it since having a child because we have no time. So
Tell you
now,
what though, spider plants. This is, once again, we've really gone off topic, but if you want a plant that can survive neglect wonderfully, we have a house full of spider plants.
Yeah.
And they just grow and grow and grow, and then they have loads of baby spider plants, and you just, like, literally cut it off, put it in some soil, another one grows. It's the easiest plant ever. I'm not kidding. The ones in the window probably haven't watered in 2 weeks. Doing fine.
Getting us back on topic. Next parenting story.
Like we got probably 10 of those, like little blankets with an animal head attached to it.
Yeah.
And they were okay, but they weren't that useful because they were quite hard to wash. They weren't like a nice muslin material. And we had like 10 of them because so many people had given them to us. So it was stuff like that I'm like,
And it's hard to anticipate what people are going to get you, but I think it is better to err on the side of getting less stuff.
Yeah.
And then I know you don't, with a new baby, you don't want to then be rushing out because you suddenly need things, but in all likelihood, that's going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
Like they grow out of clothes a lot quicker than you think, or you suddenly realise there was something you need that you haven't got, or you need to restock on nappies and wipes or other things, and so it doesn't matter too much, but you always get stuff from people that send you things, or family that send you things, and then you end up with too much. There were a lot of clothes that Lily never wore. Because
we've kept for any future child.
She grew out of them before even,
Well, she was quite a big baby.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think, was there any other, like, I don't think, because a lot of people get room temperatures, which my sister got, and she said it was a living nightmare because it was so sensitive. It would constantly be like, it's too hot or it's too cold. And she said it just made her panic.
Yeah.
Whereas actually just feeling the baby's temperature and going, oh, it feels, because I think you're meant to like put 2 fingers to its chest and see what it feels like. She was like, that was a lot easier and not panicky. Like this thing telling me constantly it's too hot or it's too cold. Or the only present I really remember is like, I remember my first little doll I got called Mary, but I don't remember getting that. I just remember I must have been gifted it at some point, and that's the toy I had, like Lily's Bingo, like my favourite toy growing up. And then I think I remember, and this is really weird, I remember getting we got some like satin pyjamas.
Ooh.
And that was very exciting to me as a child, which is weird because I can't remember any other toy I got really at Christmas. Oh, and I remember Becky got some Barbie roller skates that I was quite jealous of on Christmas. That's all I can remember.
So, Emma, what's happening today?
Today we've got a guest who is Anna.
Yay!
She's not here yet, so that's why it's a bit awkward. We're pretending she's here just to film this bit.
It's another guest. It's another guest special episode.
It is.
Sure.
We don't quite know the topic yet. Well, we know roughly the topic, but we're going to wait to put a title at the end.
Yeah. This time, however, we'll notice we're going to do a 3-way chat. So
I was just going to say 3-way. 3-way there.
Yeah, maybe I should rephrase that.
I can't remember what it was about now.
Parenting milestones.
Parenting milestones, that was it.
Yes.
Well done.
There you go. Here they are.
Enjoy.
Part of our podcast revolves around doing like crafty things. I wonder, Anna, how creative or crafty, arts and crafty you are?
I think I'm quite crafty, but it's one of those things that I don't necessarily have time for. So with my first child, I actually I bought loads of homemade rompers. I really liked little dungarees that were made by other people, but they're really expensive. So I was like, I could do this myself, right? I'm going to get a sewing machine. And I taught myself to make rompers for my children. I can make a really cute little romper. But that was when it was lockdown. I was home all the time. My husband would go and do evening meetings. So I'd be like, well, I'll just spend my evening making a romper. Now I've got 2 children. I've got Eve, who is my youngest, has no clothes that have been made for her because I've not got time for that.
We're very similar, I suppose.
Yeah.
we thought doing the podcast and doing crafting as part of it would be a great...
Good excuse to do it more.
Yeah.
And now we find we kind of force ourselves to be like, are you going to make something tonight?
Yeah, I feel like you're probably like, oh no, we need to do the craft now. And it's 3 a.m. and I want to go to sleep, but I need to do a craft.
Yeah, it's a bit like that.
Or we look at each other like, who wants to do the craft tonight? And the person's like, we both don't really want to do it at this point.
I think you should get guests. You should get guest crafters.
We should.
Next parenting story. Like,
Well, we haven't given a gift from, like, Father Christmas / Santa yet.
that's true. Yeah, we didn't. Yeah.
This is like a total tangent now, isn't it? This is like a whole other episode. But we're like not massive on the Santa thing. We don't really want to push it, but I also don't want to like not. So I'm not saying any of the presents came from Santa. They all came from us, but Santa just delivered them.
It's a good
and we
idea.
did like, we put out the milk and cookies for him. That's what he decided he wanted to put out. And we put out a carrot for Rudolph.
Yeah.
So like we'd sort of done the prep work the night before, I guess. I think last year, because obviously Lily's that bit younger, and I think last year the year before, he didn't get it at all. But this year he definitely like embraced the Santa thing a bit more, and we're trying to balance the magic of it with not wanting to push the naughty and nice list thing. That's not a goer in my house. And the whole idea of a magical man coming into your house.
Yeah.
Bit creepy. To be fair, you actually already shared my best parenting achievement on a previous episode, so like I would have used that one, but like you've covered it already. I do have another one that's like more of a terrible thing. Well, not terrible, like I'm not like beating my child, but like one of those that was like, oh no, this has happened, where my child had a wee on our friend's brand new sofa. That was like horrific parenting moment where I was like, oh no. And mostly he manages to have accidents not on furniture. Toilet training's been a bit of a journey for us. I feel like I need to get tips from you ready for my second child, because clearly you nailed this. Well, before she was even the age that Eve is now, didn't you? But like it's been a nightmare. So he still has accidents almost daily, but they're usually stood up, so it's just in his clothes.
Yeah.
On the new sofa. Not ideal. Not ideal.
Do they have kids themselves?
Yeah, but their kid's like 8 months old. So they're not near that stage. And they were great about it. Like, don't get me wrong. I've been careful because they might listen. They were absolutely amazing about it. They were really like lovely. But obviously for me, it was New Year's Day and I still, 10 days later, feel like horrendous.
Yeah, your parents had a big debate about
They did.
whether they were going to get a new sofa or not.
Because they were like, we have so many grandchildren, is there any point in getting a new sofa? And they did in the end, but there was a big debate because I can't remember who was on which side. I think Mum was very practical and was like, there's no point in getting a new sofa because we have all these grandchildren. Do you think it will ever be in a good state? And Dad was like, well, it's not very comfortable, this sofa. I'd like a new sofa.
Our living room is the only room that didn't get a new carpet when we moved into this house. And at the time I was like, oh, but I hate that carpet. And now I am so glad. I am so glad this carpet, because honestly, the amount of, like, it's got spilled drinks and the dog sleeps in here and she got an upset stomach one night. And like, so like this carpet has seen so many things in the year that we've been here. I'm so glad they didn't put a new one in.
Next parenting story.
And it's hard now because nursery send you updates. You're like, oh, I'm just gonna see how they're doing. Let's look at all these pictures here.
Actually, that's the big difference. So in a different episode, you talked about different childcare. And so we used to have him in nursery. We now have them in a childminder. And the big difference is now with the childminder, we get the WhatsApps all day, like different pictures of what they're up to and what they've eaten and stuff. Rather than with nursery where I'd get like maybe one update over the 2 days he was there. I might get one thing. And so I'd be constantly waiting for the notification. Whereas now I'm just like, oh yeah, that's what they're up to. And like, you just constantly getting it, which is so nice. And you can ignore it if you want to, but you know it's there.
Yes. You're like, look, I can see how much fun they're having.
But now I love it when I'm not with my kids. I'm like, this is great. I'm having a lovely time.
Yeah. I read a very depressing thing. I can't remember how much it was. Basically telling you, like, even if you sleep in, you never can make up for the sleep you've lost. I was like, oh, great. So that's like a year at least of like sleep I'll never make up for.
Because I think like I'm really lucky because John lets me sleep in most days because I'm the one that does the night wake ups. He then gets up in the morning.
That's exactly what we do. He does the morning because I do anything in the night.
I still haven't had more than a 3 to 4 hour chunk. And that's the big thing, isn't it? It's getting those solid 8 hours.
Yeah.
So I get 8 hours
hours.
sleep, but it's not all in one.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to the bit where like he can deal with himself in the morning for a bit. Like, where he doesn't come straight through the second he wakes up.
Yeah.
Like, people have the grow clocks in their rooms, right, where they're not allowed to come through until the sun shines on the clock.
Yeah.
And I'm like, when can I start that? I feel like it might be soon for us, actually. I feel like we might be getting to that point. But then I feel bad because I also kind of think, how much longer is he going to want to come and get in my bed and give me a cuddle at 6:30 in the morning?
Oh, yeah, that's
like,
true.
One day he's not going to want to do that, and that's going to be really sad. But it would be nice to not get woken up at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
I'm just saving up for when, like, they're teenagers and they'll be waking up really early. Be like, good morning! It's 5:30!
I'm going to crawl in their bed and give them a cuddle at 6 a.m.
Yeah. They're like, no, Mum, go up. Like, this is what you did to me for years.
You know what that means, though, don't you? We're turning into our parents, and it's awful.
Getting enjoyment out of, ooh, what can I do when they're all hungover and they come in? I'm like really looking forward to it.
Mum, you're so embarrassing. Oh, no.
Yeah, God.
And quite often I go out every week now. I go to a choir on a Wednesday night, and I'll like ring John on the way home, and it's quite far away, so I end up being out for a good few hours. And I ring him on the way home, and I'm like, oh, what have you done? And sometimes it's like, oh, I've cleaned the kitchen, I've done this. And sometimes before I go, I'm like, I think you should just sit and watch EastEnders. John, which is John's guilty secret, that he watches EastEnders. Maybe you can't include that, I'll be in trouble. So I'm like, maybe you should just watch EastEnders whilst I'm out tonight, because like, actually sometimes you just need to just sit. You, like you say, like you can't, if you're just productive for that whole time, then you're going to be exhausted by the time they get back. And what's the use in having a few child-free days if you're exhausted by the end of it?
Yeah.
That's one thing that we've not really successfully done very well, which is like give each other time to go and re-engage with
Society.
like non-child based activities that isn't work. I suppose because we're both very involved in church stuff, a lot of our extra non-work time is often occupied by churchy things. So yeah, maybe we should look at trying to do that.
Well, my little fitness class is just for me.
I was thinking that
That's something that took us a really long time to do. So it's only in the last, not even a year actually, that I joined this choir. And that's really the first time that I've started doing something that's on my own, that I go out the house for, that's for me, that's not church or work. Because when people were like, oh, what are your hobbies? What do you do for fun? I'm like, I go to church. I help at church. I do this thing for the national church. And that, I mean, that's been a massive, I think most people that know me actually would say, that have known me for pre-children particularly, would say that like since doing that, there's a real shift in me and sort of having that bit of myself back. And that's been amazing. And actually one of the things that I'm really trying to do at the moment is consciously make an effort to find whatever that thing is for John, because he doesn't have that yet.
I think we've also been learning to say like no to a lot of things. So like I was helping with lunch club, and it got to a point where I was just like, I feel like, not in a mean way, but my time is valuable. I don't get much time to myself. It was like I should be working really at this point instead of helping with lunch club. So I finally had the thing to be like, okay, I'm going to tell them that I'm not going to do it anymore, because it's just like giving too much of my time up. It's what the problem when you're like, it's a great cause, no one should help, but I actually need that time for me. And I just, So we're trying to get better at just saying no to things. When people go, would you like to help with this? And go, no.
I do think children are often a good excuse for that, though.
Yes,
Oh,
it's
sorry,
true.
I can't help. I've got the kids.
One sec, I want to do a thingamaboy. I interrupt this rambly episode of Strange Topics to bring you our usual little plug in the middle to say, please like and subscribe if you're on the video thing on the YouTubies, or share and follow whatever the buttons say if you're listening to this on Spotify or whatever podcasting platform that you like. If you particularly want to get involved, then I'd recommend joining our Facebook group or our Facebook group chat, where you can connect with other parents, mums and dads around Yorkshire particularly, or wherever you're from. And yeah, that'll be good.
He's looking very sadly into the space before him.
My mind's just gone.
What do you want, sweetie? What are you trying to say?
I don't know. What was I trying to say? As part of this series 2 of Don't Wake the Baby, something that we've got new is on our web page. We've got a button where you can click and find a list of various different baby and toddler groups all around Yorkshire, hosted or facilitated in Methodist churches that might be of interest. It's a resource there for you to use and access if you're looking to connect physically in the real world with other mums and dads, and want to go to something or looking for something to, you know, take up your time. Do you like going to baby and toddler groups, Emma?
I haven't been to many, but I can actually say the most I've been to have been good. I just know from horror stories from other people, there can be some very judgy parents out
We're
there.
meant to be promoting this, not like warning people off.
I was being honest.
Well, if...
But I'm like, it is nice to be part of something bigger. And I was saying the ones I've been to have mainly been nice, but you know. Do you want to cut all that bit off?
I think so.
I thought you would generally ask me what I thought of doing toddler groups.
Well, I suppose, but when it comes off the back of we're promoting his baby and toddler groups in Methodist churches, and you go, oh, well, some of them you can get a lot of judgy parents at.
I didn't hear that before, and I was in my own little world.
Oh.
I had Anna message, who you might know from, who was a guest on our podcast a few episodes ago, on the episode where we talked about parenting milestones. She was questioning whether church could be counted as a particular passion, interest, geeky hobby.
I think it's an interest.
Definitely for some of us. If you're like us, who's very involved with the church, we kind of do a lot of religious stuff, and it's kind of very similar to how we've talked about fandoms. You kind of indoctrinate it with them early.
I think some people really won't like you using those words. But it is funny that we recently went to Ripley Castle, and there's a little church nearby, and Lily insisted we went in it, and I was like, you poor child, like, this is like, wait, there's a church, go on guys, let's
To be
go.
clear, we're very open that Lily can make her own decisions when she's older. We don't mind. She can choose what she believes, and we're not forcing her into any religion.
I'll leave you to get back to us chatting about something else.
Or rambling away.
Yeah. If you want to find out more about what we're up to, connect with us, or, you know, find any of the resources or links or how we're supported and resourced, then you can find all that on our webpage. The links are in the description. Go have a look at all the texty text down below. Clickety-click the little buttons. And it's www.chorusmovement.org.uk/Don't Wake the Baby. Super quick.
That was very quick. Considering I don't think anybody's going to type it in as you're saying it anyway.
Yeah. Maybe it should be a thing to see how quick I can say it every time.
I like that. Quite fun. Next edition of Emma's Rambles, coming in 3, 2, 1. What I really like once we move is if everybody knows in Bluey, in the nursery, I don't know if they have it in their house as well, where they have that little structure that they put the coloured scarf over that looks like a rainbow. And it's got 2 sides to it, It looks like a
I
little
can't think what you're
ovally
talking
thing.
about.
I've got a great. So you know in the episode where is he granddad? He sees a picture of the Wiggles and he's in the Wiggles.
Okay,
house
yeah, I'm with you,
for
in the house,
takeaway.
yeah.
That structure. That's a walled off structure.
What, that pole that sticks out the wall that they can then put stuff over?
It's not a pole.
What is it?
It's got like two sides. It's almost like two half circles, and you put them together and you can put a sheet of material over it and it makes like a little house. And so this is when we move, if we have enough room, that is what I'm desperate for. But I've priced them up and they're about £300. So I don't know if we'll get one.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things you see. So it's only like there's not much stuff, and I think there could be equally as much stuff.
Here's another parenting story for your enjoyment.
I remember we were waiting to go get the train with Grandad into Knaresborough to go paint some pots. Great little shop there, painting pots. Going to shout them out. And while we were waiting, me and Lily decided we were going to stop in Costa because we were waiting for Grandad, and it's right near the train station. And Lily dropped something on her top. And being ill-prepared, I hadn't brought another top. And if you know Lily's a child, as we said, very fashionable, it was a lot of this chocolate, I think she was drinking hot chocolate, on her top. Very upset. We had to run, and thank God the charity shop was open, because Morrison's is ages away. We wouldn't have made it back in time for the train. So I had to run into this charity shop, and we ended up buying her a Mickey Mouse top, which was really lucky because she's a huge fan of Minnie Mouse. So Mickey Mouse, I just pretended, this is the parenting lies we talk about. It's like, this is Minnie Mouse. So we had to buy it, and the woman was laughing in the shop as I immediately then was changing her out of her other top and putting this top on so that she was happy to get ready for the train. And I was amazed because it was a 4 to 5 and it fit her really well. But it was a moment of worry because there was nothing else in her size range. And I was like, there's nothing else. She's a very fashionable child. She won't wear any of these clothes. Oh, very stressful.
I think the lesson here is, which both us and the person who's sent this in, as we've fallen into the trap of getting a bit complacent with our toddlers and not taking spare changes of clothes out with us.
Oh, they never have accents anymore. Oh, they don't really make that much mess anymore. But be prepared.
Yeah. It's hard to, like, when they're a baby, like, you'd go out with so many changes of clothes.
Yeah, even for ourselves, because she'd like spit up or throw up on you, and then you'd need a change of clothes. Telepathy.
It's not telepathy, it's
I know you're telepathic.
Yeah, maybe it is telepathy. I just don't think there's an emphasis on the telepathy.
Yes.
Telepathy.
Either way, my joke hasn't worked because we don't know if we can say it.
Can't tell, we're both got some colds at the moment. Makes for some great recording.
Sniff break.
This is top quality content for the outtake episode. Ugh, being ill.
It amused me because I was listening to our episode on like how all the illnesses you get from nursery, and I was feeling quite smug a few days ago, being like, "Oh, we haven't been ill in a while." And well, here's the next illness into the
Just been delayed. We didn't get it in December. We got it in January.
We're back from the sneezing break.
Next parenting story.
I've also just reread what Becky sent me, and he kept calling, what's his name? The man in Downton Abbey, Mr. Paddington, because obviously he's the dad in the Paddington film.
Oh, that's great. I feel like this is a complete tangent again. We've not got time for it. We're right at the end of the episode, but it makes me think how we were introduced to a lot of famous actors through like Harry Potter.
Yeah,
and
true,
to me, they will always be those
That
characters in
character
Harry
first,
Potter. And it's interesting to see how our children
Mr. Paddington
might be introduced to characters through other oh, that's great. Love it.
Like, I really like The Mandalorian, but I would say
What's your favorite Star Wars bit of content that's come out in recent years?
probably The Mandalorian.
Yeah. And how does that, like, would that be your favourite ever, or does it not compare to the originals?
The problem is, if people know me, I love cute animals. So Grogu has really set up the Mandalorian as something I really enjoy.
Their marketing has really worked well on you.
Worked well on me.
Yeah.
But like, it still doesn't hold the magic as such. Like, it does. It's really good, but it doesn't hold that nostalgic value of like the first time I saw like, you know, Anakin Skywalker and like Yoda as a puppet and all that stuff.
I like The Mandalorian as well. It's frustrating because I did kind of grow up on the prequels because I'm a young millennial, and
so did I. But I liked the prequels because I grew up on them.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean, really. But I recognise there's a lot of problems with them. But so it's frustrating for me because I could never say they were my favourite bit of Star Wars because I can see so many holes with them. But equally, I have a lot of nostalgia for them. But yeah, I think Andor is one of my favourite bits of Star Wars ever, which is bizarre to me because I've always really loved like the Jedi in terms of. I think the reason I love the prequels is because there's so many Jedi in it, and that really excites me. Andor has no Jedi in.
I do like Andor, but for me the magic of the dirt of a lightsaber is just not as fun. I say that. Love the Mandalorian, but I think like as a child the most exciting thing was when they had lightsabers and you were like, yes, they're gonna do some fighting, it's gonna be great.
I think these days I get taken in by the whole world of it rather than an individual story or a particular piece of content. So, you know, we like doing bits of arts and crafts, and I enjoy doing Star Warsy bits as alongside that. And I enjoy introducing some of the kind of the world to Lily, not necessarily a particular piece of it.
Yes, this is when we don't see eye to eye. Are you ready?
Ready.
What's that from? Ready to Rumble. Is that from something?
Isn't it that song by Anton Deck?
Oh, no.
No?
That is the song by Anton Deck, but I feel like I've seen it like in Robot Wars or something.
This episode is called Potty Training for Babies. Almost sounds like we're trying to say potty training for dummies. Like, this is how you
the baby reads the book.
This is how you do potty training your baby. It's very simple.
I see like a derogatory term, baby.
Yeah.
Or it's flirty. Hey, baby.
You want to do some potty training?
Potty training?
Here's another parenting story for your enjoyment. It was one of those holidays where I felt a bit embarrassed by how well we were doing as parents in a weird way. I mean, there were downsides as well because she really didn't travel well. We had a terrible time on the plane.
Yeah.
But, you know, she was out of drinking formula.
Yeah.
Like we'd done very well with how we would. So like going through airport security, we were like, well, we don't have nappies with us.
Yeah.
We don't have milk with us. We don't have a breast milk with us. We don't have... We like the amount of stuff we needed was a lot less than...
And it was very funny because people at the security kept going, and you've got no milk. And we kept going, no.
No.
Like, she's just eating.
Yeah.
And that's what she's doing. Like, obviously, like, she'd have a thing of milk now and again, but at that point, she'd transitioned on to cow's milk, so you didn't need anything special with you. You could get cow's milk wherever you were going.
Because we were a bit naughty. We transitioned on to cow's milk around 10 months, so a little earlier than you meant to.
But... in France, ding, 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 is it France? I don't know.
No, France the opposite.
No, France the opposite. Some other country, I don't know who I was talking to, they transition earlier on to cow's
so I
milk,
think the 1 year thing is kind of, again, a benchmark.
Yeah. Not that I'm saying just do what you want. I mean, you know, use your brain. But
the thing with milk was it's not dangerous for them. At that age, once they're approaching it, it's just the
danger point. It was more that
it doesn't provide them nutritional value. But so if they're eating as well, then
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I talked to one of the health visitors, and they were basically like, at the stage she's at, it's not a danger. She can process it. It's that most children aren't getting nutrients if they're not weaning.
Yeah.
So if she's getting nutrients, you don't really have to worry. So we didn't have that concern.
This is a big tangent I'm probably going to cut out. So let's try and get back on track.
Right,
so,
anyway.
Next parenting story.
I think it's also not entirely linear, as in Lily doesn't have accidents now, but she has gone back to using the potty rather than the toilet.
But that's an independence thing
It
where
is.
we brought back the potty because it actually meant she would take herself, pull her
Exactly.
own trousers down, sit on the potty,
Yeah.
then pull her own trousers back. She could do the
Exactly.
whole process
Yeah.
independently without us getting involved at all.
And that's why it was
And that's why we
reintroduced.
brought back the potty.
But I'm just saying, people think, oh, on the toilet, then you can't go back a step to going on potty.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Whatever works for you at the time is the best
She
way
still
to do
goes
it.
on the toilet. She's,
Yeah.
you
Yeah, when we take her out, we don't take a potty with us.
yeah.
And when we travel, we don't take a potty with us. It's just
Yeah.
at home, it's handy to have it in the living room so she can just...
It did make
Have
things
someone.
like holidays and traveling a little more complex because, we'd go out with friends, parents who had kids a similar
Yeah.
age. And for them, it was just, well, we've got nappies with us. We've got a changing bag.
Yeah.
We can go where... And we were like, well, we
We need to go somewhere there's a toilet
Yeah.
close by.
need a toilet close by.
Yeah.
And at set times of the day,
Yeah.
we're going to need to have access to a toilet.
Yeah.
It does limit us a little bit.
But she's better now in that she's learned she will go toilet outside.
I was very excited actually when she managed to get to grips with going to the toilet in nature.
Yeah. Which I
But
know
also-
maybe some people won't like
Yeah,
environmentally,
yeah.
but it makes your life so much easier.
She only did wheeze. We don't.
Oh no, yeah, we don't let her do a poo outside. But it's so much handier when you're out somewhere and she needs a toilet and there are no toilets available.
Yeah.
You can go, great, let's go behind this tree really quickly.
Yeah. And that didn't. At that point, it was so established. It didn't have a detrimental. That's the word. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah, impact on anything.
Yeah.
No.
So she kept her potty training up. Well, I had a very similar situation where I remember it was our church dads group where, there were a group of dads and they ended up chatting about, how the challenges and how they were coping with potty training a toddler and, going,
Yeah.
they'd had an accident, they'd wet the bed and,
Yeah.
isn't it difficult? And they kind of turned to me to be like, what, is this similar? And I was like, Lily's been potty trained for like over a year.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I can't relate.
I don't know what to say to your conversation. Yeah. It just causes awkwardness. And I think that's more to do with us being aware of how a lot of parents feel about,
Yes, it's
being
completely
judged.
our thing,
yeah.
but we really wanted to be sensitive about it. And maybe you can let us know whether, how you react to this whole story and experience, and
Yeah.
does it, I don't know, would you want us to tell you about it, or would you rather we kind of, because I know it's a big challenge potty
Yeah.
training, and I don't want to, what's the word?
Undermine it.
Yeah.
Next edition of Emma's Rambles, coming in 3, 2, 1.
This episode is called Childbirth.
Sorry, I'm losing my voice.
Yeah.
There was a little nurse who stood beside my head as I was laid there. And she was very good. She was she wasn't telling what was going on. I think she was there to keep me calm.
Yeah.
But I remember at the time, she was very nice, but I did find her a little annoying because she was trying to talk about very normal things. Like, oh, so what are you going to do? And in my head, I was like, I'm a bit preoccupied. And it was really nice though, and she was really lovely. But I remember at the time being like, but I think I'm a very, not cynical, I'm just a very factual person. So in my head, I was like, I know you're trying to distract me, and it's really nice you're trying to do that, but I don't really want to talk about the weather. And I know it would be really helpful for some people, but I just wanted to be like, I actually, not in a weird way, I would quite like to know what's going on. And I'm more interested in like what layer of me is currently cut open. Does everything and I know probably they don't want to panic you and they don't want to tell you something's going wrong, but
Well, it was
it was
I
a bit
know-
obvious if something was because I would have heard. But
I know it's an impossibility, but if it was me, I would definitely not want to hear what's going on, because
that's
then
what I
I
mean.
would pass out.
We're very different people. In that I was she was really nice, and I really appreciated that her role was to keep me calm. That was really nice. But I remember at the time thinking, I know you're here to keep me calm, and I just want to know what's going on. Which I'm aware. I think at the time now I'd go, can you just tell me what's happening? But at the time, I almost wanted to play along with her game of her keeping me calm, which seems weird. So I just let her chat to me about random things. But I was glad that they kind of thought ahead enough to have that as somebody's job. I thought that was quite nice. You know, when they hadn't thought about law things and other things, I thought that was a good thing to do. Now coming up, some ramblings from Fran and my conversation about the environment. Probably will be unrelated to the environment because I assume that's why it's been put in this bit.
Well, I think some of it's related. It's not all unrelated.
Oh, it's just too much.
You know, there was just too much. Oh, there's always too much. Too much to talk about.
Is it the dress story?
Maybe.
Huh?
You have to wait and see.
Find out. No.
That she can choose herself.
But what is interesting, her favourite thing at the minute is when I went to Edinburgh with my sisters. We went for our little trip. This is our non-kids trip we go on annually.
Lovely.
Normally a little weekend away together. And opposite, I think we're eating in the Dome, and opposite there's some kind of church, don't know which one it is, didn't bother looking. And they had a little Christmas sale. And there was a woman selling these little tartan, like, pinafore dresses.
Oh, cute.
And Lily recently, that is all she wanted to wear. So she'd wear different clothes underneath it, but that dress all day.
That dress, yeah.
And I was getting to the point where I was like, we're having a big thing where we have to clean it and get it dry really quick for you to wear the next day.
Yeah, okay.
So I had to track down this lady and be like, could you make...
Another one.
And she was really sweet. She said, I've got 2 more. They're different colours. And I was like, that's fine. I will accept anything you will send me. And she loves them. But it does amuse me. Her favourite thing is a homemade thing, not something I've bought at a shop.
Lovely.
But it was when I was tracking this lady down, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to find, like, this woman was in a church, and it was a sale.
A pop-up one day, tartan pinafore. Yeah, let's just Google that.
And I was looking in Etsy and they were so expensive, whereas because she's like a little local lady, she was only selling them for £10. So I was like, no, I don't want to spend £40 on this. Yeah. I want to get the same one for the same price. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what happens when children have their own minds.
It is. Their own opinions about fashion.
Opinions.
And now I'm so much happier because I know now it's easier.
It's good.
You've got enough to
exactly. And that's the thing.
Next parenting story.
We were discussing beforehand how Lily constantly lost this one fox shoe that was very precious because it was a blade and rose shoe, so they weren't cheap. And they were beautiful fox shoes. And it was at least 3 times. Once it was sent back to us in the post because we had to contact them and be like, have you seen a fox shoe? It's very identifiable.
Yeah.
The other time I had to walk all the way back to the train station. So, yeah.
Do you feel like you get really emotionally attached to these bits of kids' clothing?
Yeah.
That actually sometimes they were, like 10 for £1 in the super, or, whatever.
Yeah.
2 for £10 in the supermarket. But the emotional connection. I cannot possibly lose this. And yet, how many kids' water bottles are in the school lost property?
Even with Lily Now bottles, we lose them so often. And I think they must all be in different bags somewhere that I just can't find.
Yeah, absolutely. No idea where all these water bottles are. I think there's a secret hole in the bottom of the back of the car that is like...
Just takes them
that's
all.
just got them all.
Yeah.
And it's funny because even the labelled ones don't come back from school when they're lost.
How annoying.
So, yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
One day, all the water bottles...
That can be a different episode. Things that go missing at nursery and school.
Yes.
And you're like, I put labels on all of it to be clearly like, this is her thing.
No. Oh, God.
Right, let me look at Elliot's notes.
Here's another parenting story for your enjoyment.
How do you cope, like, early on when you got a lot of baby stuff and things to take with you? Or did you, like, try and cut down on that to use trains or...
So, yeah, we cut down a lot on the amount of... I suppose we didn't take things, and then if we were going to go to a family member, I was like, you need to sort out having this item for us, please. But I mean, we sort of co-slept when they were little. I mean, Wilf still co-sleeps with us, and we've done a lot of co-sleeping and bed sharing. Yeah, and so we bed share a lot on holiday, to be honest.
I think Lily does on holiday normally. She just comes in our bed.
Yeah, so that minimises the travel cot and things. There was one trip to Carlisle.
Oh?
Or Carlisle.
Did you go to Carlisle Castle?
No, we went to the cathedral for a graduation of a very exciting pioneering ministry course I did. But
yes.
Wilf was 3 months old.
Oh.
And all 5 of us stayed in a room in the youth hostel, which was great. It was on the 5th floor. That was the best bit of it. But he slept in, and we went on the train.
Very
On the
good.
train? Yeah.
Yeah, you can get the train.
Yeah, I think we went on the train. And he slept in the pram top, which you're technically not meant to do, are you? But, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
So he slept in the pram top. Because the big boys are bigger, they're now also at the point where it's like, here is your backpack with your clothes in.
Yeah,
need to
you look
carry it.
after that, yeah.
And so that helped. But yeah, I was quite surprised, and we did it. The worst bit was it absolutely chucking it down with rain. I picked the kids up from school and we had to walk to the train station,
yeah.
and to start off with everyone with wet feet.
It just makes everybody a bit
when we
miserable.
started with wet
Yeah.
feet, that was never a good call. But it is difficult with all the stuff they need. But I think also you just have to sometimes reevaluate and go, do they need this stuff?
Yeah.
Our friends, neighbours of ours, went backpacking with a 6-month-old for, well, less than that, probably a 4-month-old for 8 months. And, you know, they were like, you don't actually need anything. They took a micro pushchair. And this is the thing, you can't, and there are lots of people telling them that they were mad, and I went, actually, it's way easier than going with a toddler, because I think with a toddler they do need things, they do need distractions,
and Lily was like on a sleep schedule at that point, whereas actually as a younger baby she didn't really care. Like, she could sleep anywhere.
Just sleep
Whereas
anywhere,
once she was like 6 months and a bit onwards, she'd be like, well, I sleep at this time now. So I want to sleep always at that time.
Yeah.
So actually, I think it does get kind of harder to make them settle in different places and things at that point.
I just think they do, and when they're older, when I've got my older two, 5 and 8, they don't need as much stuff. And it always surprises me when we go to a holiday cottage and they've both taken a backpack full of stuff and they don't get bored.
Yeah.
And it's like, so why do they need all this stuff at home? Because they've coped with a backpack full of 8 Lego bricks. And also, going to Menorca to my aunt's, and taking just hand luggage for them normally. We just take hand luggage because, again...
Well, that's pricey, yeah.
Well, and because we're at my aunt's and she's got a washing machine, it's always like, can we come and stay? Just to put this absolute caveat, we need to use the washing machine every day because there's 5 of us. And she's absolutely fine with it. But it does mean that we can go with 3 pairs of shorts, 3 T-shirts and a pair of swimmers and wearing a hoodie. So the boys take hand luggage, the bigger boys. Yeah. And we tend to just have one hold bag for sort of me and Wilf. Charlie takes hand luggage, and then I've got the sort of change bag as my carry-on, so we can do it like that. But it's so tempting, isn't it, when you go away to be like, oh, I need to take all 20 of these outfits because I've got 20 nice summer dresses, so I must take them all. And then you don't...
I think you always take more than you need as well. But it's quite handy with Lily because I think she's at the age now where normally a new place is almost distracting enough.
Yes.
So as long as you know it's going to be an interesting experience already, all we actually need to take, because she's very into drawing, is we just need some pens and paper.
All the paper,
Or like we have one of those little... It's like a tablet, but not really a tablet that you can draw and impress.
Yeah.
That's really
posh
all.
Etch-a-sketch.
Yeah,
Posh
Magna
Doodle.
Yes, that's
it. Modern Magna
That's
Doodle.
all you need, really.
Yeah.
Is as long as you've got something she can draw on, and she's going to be somewhere quite distracting, you're actually fine.
Yeah.
We take a lot of clothes, though.
We do take a lot of clothes because we don't know what she's going to wear.
Yeah, you have a child who's very picky about what she wears. I have kids who are just like, it's fine.
Yeah, well,
so
a lot of my
depends.
sister's children have no things what they wear. You got a pizza cutter?
I mean, I did long haul with a toddler.
Wow.
When we went out to the Far East to see Charlie's dad, but I have written down somewhere exactly, but he had a backpack and he had a curated set of activities, and then there was a second set of activities, and for the second bit of the flight, and then there was bonus stuff in the hold luggage. But I'd thought really carefully. I think I'd taken the time to think carefully about it. And I mean, for example, I took some old birthday cards and cut them into jigsaws, and then we had them in the change bag for ages afterwards. And every now and again when you were at a cafe and a toddler's kicking off, you'd be like, oh, do these jigsaws. Yeah. And I wasn't precious about them when bits got lost because they were just old birthday cards cut up. Yeah. So I think sometimes things like that, when you think on pipe cleaners with felt flowers to put on them and take off. And
With stickers.
yeah, there's some great I think Osborne do like a My First it's slightly usable, which is great for the 18-month sort of age when they
just stick them
when
on
they
top
want
of
to
each
put them.
other.
Yeah.
Did really hurt me when you just stick them all in a pile. I'd be like, I know, it's not my concern where you put your stickers, but it is painful. You're just putting them one on top of the other.
I remember my mother-in-law getting very cross that one of my children was putting the wrong animal in the wrong ecosystem in the book, and tigers don't live in the Arctic. And I said, I don't think it really matters. And
No.
I know, but he needs to learn about habitats. I said, I think he needs to learn about stickers.
Yeah. I was just glad if she put one sticker by itself.
Yeah,
And didn't have something on top of it.
peeling and the armpit, like
know.
it's very
And I
good
get
hand-eye
it.
coordination.
It's
and
just,
dexterity.
I'd look at her and I'd be like, why have you done that?
yeah. Why they need to go on top of each other?
Yeah,
They
but
do
it's
that.
fine. It's fine.
Creativity.
This is like recently. This is once again. It's not environmental, Elliot. I'm so sorry. We were at the activity at the library, and they had this Play-Doh. One of the grandmas was like, "Oh, we can't mix the Play-Dohs," and me and the other mums were looking like, "The Play-Dohs will be mixed.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what we do in this scenario.
No.
The Play-Dohs are already a little bit mixed. They will just get more mixed.
You're going to end up with grey Play-Doh at
And
the end
me
of
and
this
one of the
session.
mums were laughing afterwards, and she laughed. I was just like, "Our Play-Doh, none of them are the right colour. They're all kind of marbled." I was like, "But you just accept that. What happened to Play-Doh? That's what it is."
Oh, it's the same with Lego, mate.
Yeah.
We have so much Lego in this household now, so much. And I've bought new Lego storage, and I'm trying to organise it all. Was going to organise it by colour. I've changed my mind and organising by brick type. And you know what? At the end of the day, there are just boxes of random bits of Lego.
Yeah.
Like, it's never going to work.
No.
It's never going to work. Because my kids aren't those sorts of kids that are going to keep the Play-Doh in
Yeah,
separate pots.
no.
They're not going to keep the Lego
And I
in
don't want to be
separate
one of those
things.
people that's like, "Oh, you have to only use that colour in this colour." Like, I'm like, no, fine. Use them.
Yeah.
Mix them. It's
just
fine.
it doesn't matter, does it?
Do you want me to start wrapping up?
Right, well, that's it.
Enough of our ramblings.
That's the end of the episode. We'll draw it to a close. Did you think I made the right decision? Or maybe some of it should have been left in?
Yeah. If it's up to me, it'd all be left in because I'm
Yeah.
I don't edit it. I'd be terribly lazy. But B, I often think I say very good things.
It's not that the things you say aren't very good. It's just that it just gets too long
We say
and it
this.
gets off topic.
He sometimes looks at me and he just looks like he's very bored. So I don't think he finds everything that interesting.
Yes, whereas everything I say is articulately perfect.
Because I don't think we often come across as quite articulate.
Yeah. It's bad enough listening back to the episodes with the stuff that's left in. We're often saying
there's
nonsense.
The
and-
one with our birth story, I say transaction instead of contraction. And it haunts me still to this day. When I ever listen back to it, now I can't listen to it. So I
Oh.
say transaction. How stupid is that? It's not at all the same word.
Just lean into it, like me. Just say ridiculous nonsense things all the time. Then you won't worry when you make a slip up of a wordy word, because
true.
all the words are wordy word nonsense. Nonsense to the things.
With that being said, we'll see you next series.
We'll be back soon enough before you know it. Enjoy your life.
So long, farewell.
This has been Elliot and
Emma.
and we are people who speak to you in the ears
Dear.
about parenting.
This is when he says I go on.
Do.
We'll wrap this up. Hope you enjoyed this a little insight into our insanity of making these episodes. Okay, goodbye.
I was going to say love you, but that's not right. That'd be a bit weird.
Goodbye, love you. See you soon.
Sweet dreams and sleep well.